General Assembly, Secretary General, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me begin by thanking you all on behalf of Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the United Republic of Tanzania, government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania, and on my own behalf, for organizing this session to pay tribute to the memory of the late President, Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, who passed on March 17, 2021 this year. This is an immense honor, and we are deeply humbled. This gesture attests to the importance you attach to the spirit of solidarity within the United Nations. I thank you unreservedly for the kind words and heartfelt condolences extended to me and through me to the government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania, and especially the bereaved family. Mr. President, life has seasons. It has been said, and I quote, "Every so often, very rarely, a person who is best of their generation is gifted to the world," end of quote. Late President Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli was that rare person. He discovered the mission of his generation and never betrayed it. His love for God and his nation, his trust in his people, and his charisma made him a remarkable person with the dignity of a president with a common touch. He was a towering figure who inspired many across the world and spoke truth to power, and did so through tough love and in the tradition of humility. Among his peers, he practiced remarkable candor. He will always stand out as an unrelenting and hard-working leader, a true patriotic, a great statesman with a humble and selfless disposition. He was a paragon of virtues, an economic national who believed unapologetically on self-development. He was also a visionary leader, an ardent Pan-Africanist who believed that Tanzanians, Africans, and the entire humanity deserved the best. Taking over from his predecessors' achievements, he was an architect of the contemporary infrastructure development of Tanzania, and his development philosophy, as well as anti-corruption drive, created a unit of purpose and actions which propelled Tanzania to become a middle-income country in the lower category, nearly 5 years ahead of the projected time. He was a champion of self-determination and initiated several daring strategic institutional and regulatory reforms in order to build an independent and sustainable economy with self-reliance at its core. He was a true believer in a global solidarity and a force for stability in the search for great understanding and harmony between peoples of the world. May God rest his soul in everlasting peace. Mr. President, as the chapter of the fifth phase government of Tanzania has closed, a new chapter has smoothly opened. On 19th March 2021 this year, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan was sworn in as the sixth President and Commander-in-Chief of the United Republic of Tanzania. We are proud as a nation and grateful to have ushered at the helm the first woman president in the history of our country. She is currently the only woman head of state and government in Africa, and we can never be prouder. Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan is patriotic, a seasoned politician with high principles, a visionary stateswoman, and a staunch supporter of multilateralism. Her Excellency the President is no stranger to this organization, and her commitment to and belief in the ideals of the UN Charter is unquestionable. Under her leadership, the United Republic of Tanzania will continue to be a very faithful member of the United Nations and what it stands for: international peace and security, human rights, development, and well-being of the human race. Her Excellency the President has already taken over the leadership with unprecedented vitality, humility, creativity, speed, and passion, towards achievement of the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development. Mr. President, finally, at this solemn occasion, where we are gathered to honor the memory of the late Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, let me conclude by recalling what late President Benjamin William Mkapa of the United Republic of Tanzania said on the passing of our father of the nation, Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, in 1999, and I quote, "Our world is composed of givers and takers. The takers may eat better, but the givers sleep better." End of quote. Indeed, in death, as in life, Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli sleeps better, for his entire life was a life of giving and not taking. The late President, Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, died at the age of 61 as a fulfilled man, and history will remember him fondly. I thank you for the kindness and the courtesy with which you have listened to me. Asanteni sana.
I thank the distinguished representative of the United Republic of Tanzania. The General Assembly will now consider the reports of the Fifth Committee on Agenda Items 147, 148, 141, and 139. I request the Rapporteur of the Fifth Committee, Mr. Tusang Terence of Singapore, to introduce in one intervention the reports of the Fifth Committee before the Assembly.
Mr. President, distinguished delegates, I have the honor to present to the General Assembly the reports of the Fifth Committee containing recommendations on issues considered during the first part of the resumed 75th session of the General Assembly. The Fifth Committee met from 1 to 26 March and held 3 plenary meetings, as well as numerous informal and informal consultations. Mr. President, let me now present the reports of the Fifth Committee containing recommendations on issues that require action by the General Assembly. Under Agenda Item 141, Program Budget for 2021, in paragraph 6 of its report A/75/682/Addendum 1, the committee recommends to the General Assembly the adoption of a draft resolution on special subjects relating to the program budget for 2021, which was adopted by the committee without a vote. Under Agenda Item 147, Joint Inspection Unit, in paragraph 6 of its report contained in document A/75/830, the committee recommends to the General Assembly the adoption of a draft resolution which was adopted by the committee without a vote. Under Agenda Item 148, United Nations Common System, in paragraph 7 of its report contained in document A/75/670/Addendum 1, the committee recommends to the General Assembly the adoption of a draft resolution which was adopted by the committee without a vote. Finally, under Agenda Item 139, entitled Review of the Efficiency of the Administrative and Financial Functioning of the United Nations, in paragraph 6 of its report A/75/683/Addendum 1, the committee recommends to the General Assembly the adoption of the draft decision entitled Questions Deferred for Future Consideration, which was adopted by the committee without a vote. Mr. President, I thank delegations for their cooperation and the spirit of compromise which enabled the committee to finish its work on time. I would also like to thank the chair of the committee, Ambassador Carlos Amorin, and his team, Fernanda Silveira, for their guidance and encouragement. I also thank my colleagues in the Bureau, Katlego Malane of Botswana, Jakub Mielewski of Poland, and Aisha Crabtree of Turkey, with whom we have always had robust and good-hearted exchanges. I look forward to working with them to ensure the success of the second part of the resumed session that will take place in May, in which the committee will focus on the financing of peacekeeping operations. Finally, I would also like to give special thanks to the 5th Committee Secretariat, led by Mr. Lionel Berich and his team, Wodianto Sumitro, Sarah Mueller, Geraldine Valandria, Lindsay Edwards, Eileen McGrade, and Rogena Indoctivo for their tireless and admirable dedication to their work. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the rapporteur of the 5th Committee. The positions of delegations regarding the recommendations of the 5th Committee has been made clear in the committee and are reflected in the
Hakuna wasiwasi tena. Ni Lina Feeds inakupa kilicho bora kwa mifugo yako. Chakula safi kinachozingatia kanuni za afya kutoka kwa watengenezaji wakubwa nchini Tanzania. Hapa tuna Broilers Feeds kwa ajili ya kuku wa nyama. Pia tuna Layers Feeds maalum kwa ajili ya kuku wa mayai. Pamoja na Pig Feeds, chakula safi cha nguruwe. Lina Feeds tunakupa elimu ya namna ya kulisha mifugo yako kwa kufuata utaratibu mzuri wa afya ili kupata matokeo mazuri yatakayokupa faraja sokoni. Kiwanda chetu kipo Msongola, Ilala, Dar es Salaam, au tupigie kwa simu namba 0786 78 21 11 au 0785 40 30 23. Tembelea kwenye mitandao yetu ya kijamii @Lina Feeds. Lina Feeds, chakula bora kwa mifugo bora.
Take decisions in the same manner as was done in the 5th Committee, unless notified otherwise in advance. I should therefore hope that we will proceed to adopt without a vote those recommendations that were adopted without a vote in the 5th Committee. The Assembly will consider the report of the 5th Committee on Agenda Item 147, entitled Joint Inspection Unit, issued as Document A/75/830. The Assembly has before it a draft resolution recommended by the 5th Committee in paragraph 6 of its report. We will now take a decision on the draft resolution. The 5th Committee adopted the draft resolution without a vote. May I take it that the Assembly wishes to do likewise? It is so decided. The Assembly has thus concluded this stage of its consideration of Agenda Item 147. The Assembly will consider the report of the 5th Committee on Agenda Item 148, entitled United Nations Common System, issued as Document A/75/670, Addendum 1. The Assembly has before it a draft resolution recommended by the 5th Committee in paragraph 7 of its report. We will now take a decision on the draft resolution. The 5th Committee adopted the draft resolution without a vote. May I take it that the Assembly wishes to do likewise? It is so decided. The Assembly has thus concluded this stage of its consideration of Agenda Item 148. The Assembly will consider the report of the 5th Committee on Agenda Item 141, entitled Proposed Program Budget for 2021, issued as Document A/75/682/Addendum 1. The Assembly has before it a draft resolution recommended by the 5th Committee in paragraph 6 of its report. We will now take a decision on the draft resolution.
Naam, mtazamaji wa TBC1, umekuwa ukitazama mfululizo wa tunasema mkutano wa Umoja wa Mataifa, na leo huo ni mkutano wa 59 katika kikao chake cha 75, na anatoka kuzungumza hapo ni Volkan Bozkır. Yeye ni rais wa Baraza Kuu la Umoja wa Mataifa katika kikao cha 75, na leo walikuwa wanafanya mkutano wao wa 59. Katika ajenda nyingi zilizokuwepo, miongoni mwa ajenda ya kwanza kabisa ilikuwa ni kumbukizi ya maisha ya hayati Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. Tanzania kama mwanachama wa Umoja wa Mataifa, basi ilikuwa ni haki kwa mkutano huo kumkumbuka na kusema mengi ambayo yamewasilishwa, na tukiyatazama hapa kwa pamoja, nawe mtazamaji na Mtanzania popote pale ulipo. Wameitwa wawakilishi wa mataifa mbalimbali kuzungumza. Amezungumza pia katibu mkuu wa Umoja wa Mataifa Antonio Guterres, akitoa salamu zake nyingi sana, lakini pia kwa namna ambavyo alikuwa akifahamika Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, akaitwa mwakilishi wa Afrika wa Umoja wa Afrika kutoka Kongo, akazungumza mengi kuhusiana na Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, lakini pia kwa mataifa ya Asia Pacific nao wakatoa ya namna gani ambavyo walikuwa wanafahamu maisha ya Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. Kwa upande mwingine pia mataifa yanayotoka mashariki mwa Ulaya nao wakazungumzia namna ambavyo walikuwa kinaga ubaga wanamfahamu Daktari John Pombe Magufuli. Latin America na Caribbean nao wakajitokeza mwakilishi wao kutoka pale Chile, akawakilisha mataifa hayo kwa ukubwa zaidi. Lakini pia kutoka mataifa ya Ulaya Magharibi wakiwakilishwa na Uholanzi nao wakamzungumzia Daktari John Pombe Magufuli na uongozi uliopo sasa hivi wa Rais Samia Suluhu Hassan. Kutoka Marekani ambao ndio wameelekea kufunga mjadala huo, pia akazungumza kabla ya kuzungumza mwakilishi wa kudumu wa Tanzania katika Umoja wa Mataifa Profesa Kennedy Gaston, akitoa mojawapo kati ya, naweza kusema ni hotuba fupi lakini tamu sana, ambayo imezungumzia kwa namna gani matashi ya Tanzania yanasimama katika macho ya dunia. Anwari Mkama, umefuatilia lao, ni kitu ambacho wafuatiliaji wa masuala haya walikuwa kikisubiria sana, na ilivyobahati TBC palipo na kweli na uhakika tukamfikisha Mtanzania kwa hali ya pekee sana. Katika mazungumzo yote haya ya wakilishi mbalimbali wa mataifa ambayo wamezungumza hapa Anwari, kuna vitu ambavyo vilikuwa vinatazama kwa dhati kabisa. Miundombinu lazima imezungumzwa ndani, masuala ya elimu yamezungumzwa ndani, afya imezungumzwa ndani, lakini namna ambavyo kiu ya hayati Dr. John Pombe Magufuli ya kuifanya Tanzania kuwa na ghanima ama prosperity ama ustawi wa kiuchumi imeguswa sana na wawakilishi hawa. Linatupa picha gani?
Picha kwanza ni heshima kubwa. Ni heshima kubwa katika mkutano mkubwa kama huu, wawakilishi hawa, mabalozi wa kudumu hawa wa Umoja wa Mataifa, ajenda yao ya kwanza ikiwa ni kumkumbuka hayati Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. Ni heshima kubwa sana, lakini kikubwa ambacho wameweza kukizungumza ni kiongozi ambaye kama ulivyoainisha hapo katika muktasari wako Sero, ni kiongozi ambaye amefanya mambo mengi sana kwa nchi yake, na hasa ni Antonio Guterres akizungumzia swala zima la miundombinu, na hilo ni swala ambalo ameliweka bayana kwamba ni kiongozi ambaye alihakikisha kwamba anajenga vitu vingi.
Mkuu wa chuo cha Kilimanjaro Institute of Technology and Management kilichoko Mwenge jijini Dar es Salaam na chenye ithibati na usajili wa NACTE nambari REG/ANE/029 anapenda kuwatangaza nafasi za masomo kwa ngazi ya diploma na certificate kwa muhula wa masomo utakaoanza mwezi Machi mwaka 2021 katika kozi zifuatazo: IT, Business Administration, Accountancy, Procurement and Supply, Front Office and Hotel Management. Chuo kimebobea katika ufundishaji kwa njia vitendo na kimeweza kutoa wanafunzi wenye weledi. Wengi wameajiriwa ama kujiajiri, na kwa wale ambao wameamua kuendelea na degree wameweza kujiunga na vyuo vikuu bora kabisa hapa nchini na nje ya nchi. Pia kuna ofa ya kozi fupi za computer application, graphics and design na video production. Kwa maelezo zaidi piga simu nambari 0754864361 au 0652835123. KITM, elimu na ujuzi kwa maendeleo ya viwanda.
Ni bei yake au macho yangu?
Ni bei yake wala si macho yako.
Wow, that's a low price. Oh my god. Hata cartridge ni low price tu.
Ni bei zetu za kila siku.
No, can't wait. Naomba cartridge, naomba rim na counter book za 5 star.
Toner, cartridges, desktop and laptop, printers and projectors, massmen, printways and stationaries.
Oh, what is wrong with the child here? What is wrong with the child?
The child?
Yes.
Hungry. No father, no father.
Can we give the child some food?
Na leo mfahamu Hope au Tumaini, mtoto mchawi aliyetupwa jalalani akanusurika kufa